The reason I'm calling this particular meeting is because I have wanted to do this for a while. A little breakdown of what, why my challenge sounded the way it did, and why it wasn't completely, in my opinion, I was actually worried about it not being within the realm, not catching enough of the well, I guess my computer's kind of fanning up. You can probably hear that. I didn't catch the full essence of the song entirely all the way through, or the composition, rather. Why it sounded the way it did. It was not by accident. It was just the way that I felt about the whole composition and the process I went through after having actually went and examined, Googled and researched what Acker Bilk's inspiration was for this particular composition. So, pardon me. I went ahead and looked up the, Acker Bilk's, which is not his real first name. Acker's not his real first name. His inspiration, and what I found for me was rather disturbing. So I already have that kind of queued up here. Stranger on the Shore. Acker Bilk came to hate this haunting melody. That doesn't have anything to do with it. This is what I found. Somewhere in here, and this isn't the only one that I used. This is just one site that I found this on. So let's see if we can find it here. Okay, Bernard Bilk was his actual real name, and he came up with the song as Melody in a Taxi. And he named, let's highlight this, he named this gentle tune in honor of his daughter. So the original name of the composition was Jenny, named after his daughter. Having scored hits and blah blah blah, Bill was famous, created BBC offered. Okay. Bilk was famous enough. Let's go to here. Bilk was famous enough to create the theme for the BBC TV's children's series about the French pair. Blah 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 blah. Bilk offered them Jenny. Okay, what's the problem with this? Well, his young daughter at the time is who he had named this deal for. And I can relate. I got a young daughter, and I like to dedicate things to her. I built a guitar for her that has her name on it, and just, when you have a child and you love your child, you do these kind of things. So, but to take and sell out and change the name, because Bilk offered them Jenny, but was asked to change its title to the name of the program, Stranger on the Shore. And this was what he did. He sold out, in my opinion, something that he dedicated to his young daughter, and profited from selling out his daughter, which disturbed me. So, I don't want to get too much into this, but other places I read that he called Stranger on the Shore his pension, and some other disturbing stuff. You can look it up for yourself and find all the information that I did. But I was disturbed by that, and that's one of the biggest reasons why my composition my cover of this, air quoting, cover of this particular composition sounds the way it does, and nothing in it is by accident. It's all really kind of planned from beginning to end. And let me close this. And so what it did for me was that, I like to when I compose or when I play something, I like to put some emotion into it, and tell a melodic story about what the theme of the song is, or the composition. Okay, I have here a copy of Stranger on the Shore queued up, and first let's do a little disclaimer. This isn't intended to take anything away from Mr. Acker-Bilk and his contribution to the music world, so keep that in mind. It's simply a journey through self-awareness on my part, and how that translated into this composition here. And so, first and foremost, we will. There's a part I want to go to here that is the first clue, and it's really the only important thing I said when I was doing my little preamble here. And let's take a listen. With that, this is Stranger on the Shore is filtered through me. Okay, as filtered through me, so that's basically where it's at. And so this is filtered through me. And as we get to the beginning here, of course I started off with a foundation, some pavement for the beginning of it. And I wouldn't say that there's any intro or outro to this piece at all. I would say that there is everything is important, and maybe you could call it an intro, but let's take a listen to the beginning. It's kind of the WTF moment. So let's check it out. So that's the moment I found out what I found out about how a young lady was stripped of the honor of having a song named after her, in my opinion. Others may have a different opinion. Who knows? If you do, you can share that in the comments down below. But make sure you research thoroughly first. So, pardon me. So this next part is from the score, the first measure or so. I don't have the music in front of me, but it's from the first score. And actually the music is right up here. You can't see it, but it's up there. It has my notations and all that garbage on it. But it's from the score, Stranger on the Shore. And it is translated. It's how the actual music translated in my head after I became a little bit disturbed about what I'd learned. So it's kind of mechanical and edgy, and the guitar riffs are obviously not part of the score, but they are what maintains the feeling, or begins to give the feeling of the of what's going on here. It's like, okay, yeah. So it's how the song translated in my head. So let's take a listen to that. kind of mocking the score, and so with that we can move on to the next. And this next part is a transition from the me being my little office area here, my studio, if you will, to the deep thought and the two sides of me kind of having a discussion about what would I do in this situation. Would I side with profiting off of it, or would I side with maintaining that honor for my loved one? So this is the transition. It starts with dropping down to a C, then going to a D, and then bending to an E, and then the little piano riff that is in there that's kind of like the dee-doo, type of thing, where you're traveling through space and time to where I end up with the two individuals that you will see in this particular cinematic part of it. So let's take a listen to this transition. Okay, back it up just a skosh. Tink. This next part, when you see the first character, he is the part of me that is probably too empathetic and would suffer personally to please others, I guess. And of course, that individual, that part of me is vital, and so is the other part you'll see after that. But the guy in the white fedora, the part of me in the white fedora, is also playing from the score. Don't know if you'll recognize it or not, but it's part of the score. I think it's it's further down from the first couple of. I wish I had the music in front of me, but I don't right now. But it's from the score as well, and you'll see that the guy in the darker fedora and and as he's underwater, getting ready to come onto shore, plays a more darker version of the same thing that the guy on the white fedora dude, if you will, plays right here. So let's take a listen to those two parts. And this is the beginning of the conversation. This is the greeting, I guess you could call it. Okay, now this is transition on shore for the dark fedora. Let's call them the dark fedora and the white fedora, or light fedora. And this is the part, the section. This next section is where they have the conversation regarding what would I do? I'm having this conversation, this self-awareness conversation within myself. What would I do? Would it be so horrible to make some scratch off of something I created for a loved one, or and how would that loved one feel? And that comes later in the piece. But let's take a listen to this, and you can hear. I don't know if I'm going to pause or not, but I might. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, I should pause it right here. Now notice that this individual, all scruffy and stuff, and So I had to do all my guitar parts before I shaved, and I ended up on the white fedora. I had to, or light fedora. I had to pin my hair back and look a little bit more clean cut. But there's no real emotional expression here. It's all about business. Let's make some money off this. Why wouldn't we do that? It's money. I worked hard on this, and I should make some money off of it. So let's now the light fedora. You can see that there is more emotion, maybe too much, in his playing and in his face. So he's pleading the case for it just isn't right. How would your loved one feel finding out that you have taken that honor away from him or her, and how would that person feel about it? So let's continue on and watch the emotion here. And right here is a transition in the conversation where the light fedora gets a little angry, and you can hear the height and the volume, and so it's kind of a turning point. Let's take a listen real quick. Right, and that do is just kind of like, no, wait a minute type of riff there. So let's continue on. But at this point, this guy, and this is a very important part of this composition, this guy is going to join in with the light fedora, and they're both going to be kind of encased in empathy and really putting themselves in the place of the individual that would potentially be dishonored. So, and that's what the close-up on the guitar is about, and the close-up on the guitar was on purpose. So, obviously, because that's the way that I filmed it. Anyway, let's listen to the rest of it, and ultimately, I'm trying not to pause again. Ultimately, they, as a pair, come together once again as one, and decide that I wouldn't be able to stomach doing that to a loved one, profiting off of something that was originally dedicated to them. And I have a daughter, so I'm not completely out of my mind on this situation. So I kind of put myself in her place if I was to do that to her. So anyway, let's try not to pause again until the end. Empathy coming up here. Okay, that is the empathy portion, and where they come to the conclusion that it would not be correct. There's a couple of parts here, where it really It changes tone. Let's go back and see if we can find that. Yeah, I think we're coming up to it right here. Everything back here. Let's just start off with this again. See if we can find the beginning of. Okay, yeah, right here. Everything from here to there. Oh, actually, you know what? A little bit further. Well, no, that's about right. Is not from the composition, and then the rest is my own version of the sequence of notes in the composition, but not necessarily the durations. So. So that is the obviously the end. Okay, so that is the ultimate conclusion that we came up with here. The two halves of me is that it certainly would not be right. Through self-awareness, there is others' awareness. And that's where the empathy comes in. So, pardon me. And I didn't expect anybody to decipher this particular piece. But and that's one of the reasons I'm here. There's two reasons for this video. One of them is to decipher this for those that might be interested, and which is a good segue to what I consider one of the crossroads in musicianship. When you learn how to play an instrument, in this case, for me, it's guitar and some keyboards. There are two ways to go. One of them is you can go with covers, and that's perfectly fine. You can join a cover band and learn how to play other people's music, or you can become a composer of sorts and compose your own music to whatever level that might entail for you. For me, I have really had no choice. I don't know how I had no choice. I really have a hard time doing covers. So I just can't do it. I learned a D chord first, and the first thing I did with that D chord was composed. Anyway, so with that, I'll let you get back to your life. Thanks for watching, and we will end this thing right now.